that these fellows go forward believing that some strange thing is going to happen, and he's going to come out of the clouds and shake their hand. They'll wait forever. When he comes from within, because he is within. Do you not realize that Jesus Christ is in you? Unless, of course, you have failed to meet the test. Examine yourself to see whether you're holding to the faith. Jesus Christ is in you. Do you not realize that you are the temple of the Lord and the Spirit of God dwells in you? If he dwells in me, why look on the outside for him to come? When he comes only to awaken within me, because he's already within me. He awakes within me as the very being in whom he awakes. And then I see confirmation of that when I see the resultant state David. And this handsome, wonderful, no one can paint. Oh, they can attempt it, but you can't paint or sculpture the beauty of David. He's beyond description. Something alive that you cannot describe. That's the resultant state of all the parts that the Lord has played. And who is the Lord? I am he. So you're told you will die in your sins unless you believe I am he. Now this person believes in an external God. They'll find it so much easier to stick him on the wall and cross themselves and get them and genuflect. That's done. Did it for today, therefore my work today is done now. We'll do it again tomorrow. Meanwhile, I go about my business doing all kinds of nonsenses with my imagination, and I think I serve the Lord. It's not something you do once in the morning before some little thing on the wall. It's something you do 24 hours a day. You carry it right into the dream world with you. And there your reactions are as they should be when you're awake here. That you're completely in control of your wonderful human imagination, for that's God. That's the creative power of the world. So take anyone, wherever he is, and just try to lift him up to something other than what he seems to be, if he wants to be other than what he is. And they ask him to persist to the best of his ability in that new assumption, and to feel it as you would a suit of clothes. It's new when you first buy it, wear it for a week, it's old stuff. The first day you put it on, you think everyone knows you're wearing a new suit. And really no one does. But you do, and so it's what you do. And so after a little while, it's an old suit. So put on the feeling. It's like something new when you first put it on. Then wear it. And then after a while, it becomes so natural. And then it objectifies itself in your world, and you become exactly what you've assumed that you are. For an assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. You try it. Who would have thought an insane person like a Hitler or a Stalin could, by a mere assumption, rise to the height that they did and actually control intelligent men and women? 100 million Germans, the other 200-odd million Russians. And they could destroy them with impunity. Kill millions with impunity. They weren't put on trial. Yet both were thieves and robbers before they actually moved to that position. Stalin was a bank robber and served time for it. And yet they honored him over the years he was there, knowing all along he was insane. Well, you can't conceive of a man called Hitler sane. He was just as insane as anyone could be. But he did boldly assume, and he lived in it. That's what I mean by this strange, peculiar law that kills and makes alive. And it wounds and it heals. It makes the dark and creates the light. It forms the wheel and still creates the road. It does all things, and no one can deliver out of his hand. So it's entirely up to us. What are we going to do with this creative power in the world when we ourselves are that power? You don't say I'm going to take it from outside and use it. We are the power. We are the creative power of the universe. And that power, the world calls God. But in calling it God, in calling it Jehovah, in calling it Lord, they are missing the point. Because they put it on the outside. If you really know, read the 3rd chapter, the 14th verse of Exodus. That's where the name is beautifully described for us. And when I come to the people of Israel, and I tell them, the God of your father sent me to you, and they say, what is his name? What shall I say? Say unto them, I am. That is who I am. And when you go to them, you just say, I am has sent me to you. And that is my name forever. And by that name I shall be known throughout all generations. But Israel finds it difficult to keep the king. And so it's always something other than I am. It's so much easier to blame someone other than self for the things that are happening to us. And I point here, there, and elsewhere. I forget what I did in my idle moments. And when the harvest comes up for me to reap it, I deny that I planted these seeds. When on earth did I plant them? Well, if I was honest with myself, I would know. You plant them morning, noon, and night. In the course of a day, unnumbered idle moments catch you thinking all kinds of things. You don't know the people, and yet you'll be acting and doing all kinds of things